graduated in 1992 as a veterinary doctor. I went to work in Enugu for my NYSC. It was a very good year in Enugu. Beautiful, beautiful. I enjoyed being there. The people were very nice to me, very kind, very warm. I learned Igbo, so, as much as I could.
What year were you serving in Enugu?
1992, 93.
1993.
Yeah. It was a lovely time, and I loved the place. I didn't even want to leave when I was.
Wow. It was that good.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was good. It wasn't like, I know you're giving me that look. Like,
No.
Like, was that good? Like, what do you think I was doing there? No. The food was good. I know they're talking about the food, right? The food was good.
Only the food. Okay, we get back there.
I was in Anambra a few years after, and one thing that I noticed was that they put leaves in everything.
Everything, yes.
And then we were like, oh. But when we started, bad.
Yes. It will amaze you how the variety and the richness of that stuff and how healthy actually it is for you.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed my time there, and then I came back, got a job in Lagos, working for a company called Animal Care, and I worked there for several years, for about 7.5 years. And I rose from when I joined them as a technical salesman, like a field salesman. I rose to the position of a divisional manager. So like the company had 4 divisions, so I headed one of the divisions.
That was in the Southwest?
Yes. The company was actually, they're still here. They're still there. It's
a big company actually.
Yeah, it's still the foremost livestock marketing company in Nigeria. So, and then I worked there all those years. I rose to a high level there. Then I thought, all this time though, I've been writing songs. I've been making music. So it was just time in 2000 to say, let's go and play music full time now. Because I've been doing it part time.
Okay.
2000 I said,
so
enough.
Monday to Friday, Segun Akinlolu goes to work.
Yes.
Then at the weekend, or was it in the evenings, or how did you juggle that at that time?
Well, it was everything. It was Monday to Friday, me going to work, and sometimes when I had a chance, because I worked a lot, I worked really hard. I've always been a hard worker, but there were times when I would kind of have time in the evenings, and I would end up at places like Mr. Ojekunle.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time at the Echo FM studios in those days. I would come in the evening and hang out with the young guys. There were a lot of young guys who were working there at the time, and I would come.
Do you remember any names?
There was. There was the man I used to actually spend a lot of time with was, of course, Mr. Ojekunle himself, but there was Alesh. I used to spend a lot of time with them. And Alesh, and then there was Toyin Ojeyomi. There was
Papa
Sukomi Sanusi. There was Sukomi Sanusi. In fact, Toyin had a reggae.
He had a reggae show.
And
reggae toast.
At some point, it was like I was on that show every time.
Every time.
And I used to even bring albums. I used to bring LPs. Yeah, that I for us to play, So I was like part of the show. Basically, I was like assistant, whatever. I don't know what I was.
I remember.
So I remember. At some point in time, beautiful Nubia was a radio presenter, producer.
Well, I don't know if I ever spoke. But I used to be there.
So you were producing?
Yeah, maybe.
That's production.
I was assisting, But I enjoyed it because this was my window into the world that I wanted to be in. Because at the time I was a full-time, fully employed as a vet. And I was playing music on the weekends. One of the, when I released my first album in 1997, I remember being sent by a beer company, very popular. You're still there now. That beer company, they had like a weekend thing.
To be honest, mention their name, don't worry.
I don't want to embarrass them.
Okay. So I'm just saying
he doesn't want to embarrass.
I like that angle. So, but if it's about advert, we don't mind.
I don't want to. Okay. I don't want to start saying you said something bad about us. It's not really bad anyway. They had this bag. They call them some kind of, but I call them bar gigs. So basically, you were supposed to go to a bar and sing. And that's the kind of things I used to do. They send you out there to go sing in a bar. And I remember the first one I went to was at Tokunbo or somewhere like that. And there were like maybe 20 people there, and they were all drunk. And nobody was listening to anybody. And I was supposed to be singing for these people. I was a veterinary doctor. Don't forget. During the day, I wore my suit and went around with my briefcase and my air-conditioned car and everything. And then in the evening, I'm at this bar, wearing jeans and a shirt and trying to look all cool
with your guitar.
With my guitar, trying to be this artist.
Wow.
And there's just a sense that I remember that night particularly coming back from that gig thinking, do I really belong in this world? Is this my world? You know,
What exactly am I doing here?
what am I doing here? I mean, I cannot. This is not what I want to do. I cannot be singing for. If I sing, people must listen to me. This is I have to be respected, and so I kind of told myself, you know, you just have to keep doing the work. And so I spent a lot of those years developing myself, learning from people, listening to people, and you know, we many of our young people don't realize how important listening is. It's not just enough that you can go online. You can find a lot of information and wisdom there. But even online, you have to listen. There's a difference between reading stuff and listening to the stuff. Yeah. And I think it's important for young people to know that we pick up a lot of wisdom from just listening quietly, being humble enough to be ready to learn.
I'm going to beg you, because that's a quotable quote. So we pick up a lot from just listening. Segun, Akinlolu, 2022. we have stamped that, and we noticed that there's a deficit in knowledge. There's a deficit in anything, and this is a simple solution: listen and learn. Listen and learn. Before you continue, there's a message on YouTube from Adebayo Olowake, and it says, "Beautiful Nubia, good to see you here. These Boom Radio guys have killed it again. I've killed it again. Oh, sublime.
I know him.
You must know Bayo Olowake.
He's our friend.
Yes, I know him very well.
Bayo Olowake is family.
Yes,
You know.
and his brother, right?
Mhm.
Is his brother?
Yeah.
My very good man. He's been to my show a few times.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to hang out with him too.
Not daily.
On the reggae program, what was it?
He's daily. Pfizer.
Yes.
Daddy
yes,
Pfizer. Daddy
And
Pfizer.
so that's another guy whose name, because I spent a lot of time with Pfizer as well. You know, just generally chatting, chilling, and we were young. Everybody was young then. So
Yeah, beautiful. Sorry, Shola.
No, please.
I want us to go a little bit way back, and going way back means we're still going traditional. Something you have that others do not have. I'm sorry, I have to talk about it. That's the depth of the quality of the lyrics you put together, and the lyrics all make sense, you know. And I keep asking myself, even then, I'm sure I asked this question. How do you come out to write such deeply? You know, you infuse a lot of reality into our existence. At the time you were doing those songs, those days, Nigeria was in a political mess. You know, so I would ask you really, were you thinking politics? Were you thinking tradition? Were you thinking culture when you put those songs together?
well, I guess that takes us. The question really is, how do I write songs? What is my process for writing songs?
Yeah.
And I really, this is a question you've asked me before several times, and it's really difficult to explain because it's a gift. And when you have a gift, you can't really. I think at some point I used to be scared actually to try to break it down, because I think maybe if you try to break it down too much, you're going to lose this gift.
You might jinx
it. Because I started writing songs when I was 9, you know, and I remember just that day, my friend, my brothers and our neighbors, all the little kids, we were playing our little games. You know, we used to do this father and
mommy and daddy games.
Yeah. And then, of course, I always wanted to be the daddy, you know, because I wanted to have a wife, of course. So I have, you know, this is my wife. And then and everybody's like the kids. And then we'll say, let's go hunting. Because my father had built his house at Ring Road, which was just newly developing. The place is an urban jungle now. But in those days, it was real jungle.
Wow.
It was a natural jungle. Wow. I mean, we had all kinds of birds. We were surrounded by bush.
This was in the 70s.
In the 70s. And so I mean, we'll go into the bush and we'll be singing. We want to sing like warriors going to war. And so I remember singing, bẹ́ẹ̀ délé lóní ẹ má gbàgbé ọ̀rọ̀ tá a wí bẹ́ẹ̀ ń bọ́mọdé sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ fìfẹ́ bá wọn wí o ẹni tí ń bẹ ní kọ̀rọ̀ dákun jáde wá o kò mà sóhun tó dàbí ìfẹ́ aláṣepọ̀. And I was 9 years old when I
9.
Yes, I wrote that. And so
No, I know the song. I'm saying at 9.
Yes. So when I wrote that song, well, let's be totally honest. I wrote the root of it, most of it, at that over the years. I've added
develop it,
extra word.
yeah.
But I can't tell you what exactly I wrote at 9. But that is the song. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what percentage of it I wrote at 9. But that is the song. I composed that song at 9.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just, we just sang it, go in the bush. Everybody's going, carrying sticks and saying, and I thought, maybe I heard the song somewhere. Because it kept coming back to my head. And I realized, you know what, it's your song. It had happened before then, that songs would come to me, and I would just assume that I had it somewhere. But this particular, I started thinking, I think I wrote this song. I think it does. Nobody. This is a new thing. Maybe I'm a songwriter, but I already knew there was a songwriter. My mother was a songwriter.
Okay.
So I already knew that somebody could write a song and put in a book. Okay. My mother used to write, because she was a very churchy woman, and she used to write songs. She used to compose original songs for our church.
Wow.
And plays for them to do at their harvest, whatever.
Yeah,
So she used to write plays, and she would write them in these books and fold the books up and put them in the wardrobe along with her Horlicks candy.
Wow.
The Horlicks, you know all the Horlicks?
Yeah.
And I like the candy, so I used to go steal the candy. And then I'll see this book, and what is this about? And I could read, so I was like, okay, it's like a song, or And then we'll go to church, and I would see them perform. And I was, this is my mother wrote this. So already I knew at 9 that there's something called the songwriter. Yeah. And I'd been listening to a lot of people like Vijadu Sisters. And their songs were popular in those days at that time, at that particular time. Yeah. There was an album they actually had that I could sing from track 1 to the end. I think was it Mother Africa?
Mother Africa.
Yes. And Emi be o iya mi jowo jowo. I still remember the songs. I mean, I was like 9 or 10. So I knew there were people called songwriters who could write songs, and they did this. So I guess I started thinking, maybe I can write songs. Okay, maybe I'm a songwriter. So I opened a book when I was 13. Song 1. I started writing it down. There are many ways that songs come to me.
Can you remember your song 1?
Song 1. I shouldn't sing it.
Why?
No. It's even when I talk to my children now, they laugh at me. Dad, don't sing that song. Sometimes I sing it at home. So guys, I've been writing songs for a long time. Man. Let me sing my first song. Don't sing ever.
In due deference to your kids, we will let that one slide. But off air, we will make him sing that song.
So a song comes to me sometimes just like that. It's just an inspiration. That's why I said I feel like a songwriter, you're just a conduit for ancestral wisdom, for ancient wisdom. Basically, you can't really understand, you can't explain it. If it's a real organic song, not a song you've written for commercial purposes, not a song you've written so that maybe they say there's a World Cup, write a song for the World Cup. People of the world come together, blah, blah, those kind of things that you say, like Bobo Gaga, we just sing, right? There are songs, I can do that too.
Yeah.
If you ask me to do it, you pay me money, I'll come and do that. But there are songs that are organic, like 7 Lives. In my journey through the world. You can't explain that.
That is deep.
Yeah, but you can't explain. As a songwriter, you can't even explain it. Because that one, I was just walking from my room. I was at the University of Ibadan at that time.
Wow.
So I was in Melambi Hall. Anybody who knows UI knows that Melambi Hall, okay, when you come into UI from the gate, the first hall you see is the Queen's Hall. Mm-hmm. The first male hall is Melambi Hall. So the distance, maybe at 20 minutes walk. And I used to walk a lot. Yeah. So I was walking back and forth that evening. Quiet evening. There were brown leaves everywhere. The wind was blowing. And I just remember just the sense of calm. And this song just came. Da 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 da. And it just came. That was what came first. And I was just humming it. I was humming it and walking. And then when the words came, that's when I knew how to go and write it down. Because the words just came. In my journey through the world, I thought, go to your room now and go and write it. So sometimes that's how. So it's hard to explain.
Me thinking. When I heard that song, the first time I heard it, this was me thinking, okay, well, it was abroad. To be honest, when you talk about being overland and overseas,
yeah.
So I'm like, well, no, at least it was abroad.
No, I wrote that song in 1989.
In UI.
I was a student at the University of Ibadan.
Let me go back to the messages here. Dayo Okeowo says, thank you, Dayo Okeowo. He says, there's a lot to learn from listening. Thank you, Dayo. Adebayo Oluwake said, Beautiful Nubia is very deep. And it's not a surprise given the revelation coming out of the live interview. Thank you for sharing your unique talent with the world.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, brother.
Yeah.
Sometimes opportunities come and they come flashes, and when you miss it, it fizzles away. Now, what's the intuitive connection between you and when the songs hit you?
I've heard other songwriters say, oh, when they hear a tune, they have to record it or put it down or something, and I do agree with them, and they say, well, if it's yours, it stays with you, right? And for me, it's kind of true. The only thing is that for me, even if I don't write it down now, it will come back. They do come back. Yeah, the tunes come back, things come back to me, and you will. There's an album called Iwa. So the question you just asked, there's an album called, is the closest thing to a concept album I've ever done. It's the closest thing, like where I'm on a theme for the whole album.
Okay.
It's the closest, and I didn't plan it. It was after the album was made that I started listening myself. I thought, there's a theme throughout this album.
Yeah.
You are showing different reflections and ramifications of Iwa. The Yoruba, because Yoruba will
So
say
that's what led to the title of the album.
the album.
Mm-hmm.
But even when I put the album at title, I didn't think there was I didn't
A
even realize
recurring
it.
theme.
It was after we released the album. One day I was just listening. I thought, from one song to another, you're talking about Iwa. Oh wow, look at that! Something pushed you into this, and you've done it, and you can't even explain it. How this process came to be.
Yeah.
But for an album like that, the words are coming, songs are coming. You're trying to put them down together. I know that when I get into that phase, I do not want and people who live with me know that. My wife knows that. My children know that. My wife even will say, once you get into that ghost mode, where you are in the house but you're not there,
They just leave you alone.
because I don't realize it. You're walking up and down. You're not even talking to anybody. You're just in your head. I know he's doing his work. Whatever that is, he's doing his work.
He's doing his work.
Staying with the thought process and the creation process or the creative process, you're not just a songwriter. You write books too.
Mm-hmm.
You write poems too. It's difficult to box you into a corner, so we would just assume that it's the same process, right?
I think it's. I always like to think people are balls of artistic potential, and that I'll give you an example. Somebody we all know very well, like Professor Wole Soyinka, for example. Many people don't realize that Wole Soyinka used to play the guitar and sing.
Yeah.
And if he hadn't put all his creative energy into writing plays, not even fiction, the plays,
yeah.
and directing them and staging them, and because that's where a lot of his energy went into. Perhaps he could have done more as a musician, and usually that's how it is. Because I can write those plays, I can direct plays, I've done it, but I've always put more of my energy in music.
I know a lot of people don't know, like he talked about Wole Soyinka. We play that here Monday. Let me sell markets more. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 10:15 p.m. to midnight. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we play those kind of songs. We Chairman,
Yes.
We play them. We play all those songs from the 50s and 60s and 70s,
Classics.
80s, 90s, and a little bit of the early 2000s. But we want to continue to bring that era to this time so that people can realize that some of the things that we're making noise about has been done in the past.
It's important that we don't cut ourselves up from the root. I was talking about it. You're talking about how great I am as a songwriter, how great this, great that. But everything we are doing now, everything I am doing, was informed by what other people have done. Don't forget that everything that we are doing now, there's nothing really, really new. Yeah. So I would say I'm a conduit. Great. But it doesn't mean that I'm doing something that's never ever been done before. We are saying things that we've heard. We may not know where we heard them. I've made up words. Awilele, my second and my fourth album, I made up that word. There was no Yoruba word called. Even the name of Eniobanke, the name I bear, I'm the one who created it. Yes. People, everybody's bearing Eniobanke now, but I created that in my songs. If you are not careful, I've created Yoruba words that I've added to my song, and people you say them now, and they say they don't realize that I created those words. They didn't exist before.
Do we have
in Jangbala Jugu?
I don't think so.
But
No, I'm not talking about the word itself. In that piece,
Yes.
there are some Yoruba words you created.
Ah,
I can't think of right now. I can't think of any, but it's possible. It's possible. It's
So
possible.
do you
But
have,
I've always done
do you
those
have
kind of
them
things.
written somewhere? It would be
Yeah.
nice.
We have books of we actually have a book of lyrics. So the lyrics are published and people buy. Our fans buy them.
No, I mean like the words.
Oh, like my own.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's important
Your words.
for us to give credit to whom
Your
it is
words.
due. Because at some point in time, it would be nice to say, you're saying you know Yoruba, right? But do you know that this world was just created 20 years ago? Also by this person.
True.
You know?
Yeah, but what I was trying to point out though is not how original I am, but how everything we are
Well,
doing.
we are latching on to
Thank
that.
you. but everything,
No.
but that everything we do
Beautiful.
is informed by the past,
By the past.
and we mustn't cut
I
ourselves
like
off
that.
from the past.
I like that. By the way, I've never asked you about religion.
Okay.
And I always say an opportunity will come for me to do
Yeah,
that.
in this book, my biography that I just handed you a copy of, I talk about that. My mother, like I told you, let me give you. Let's go since we are here and we have time, Abi.
Yes, we do.
Let me tell you. So me, as I sit down here, so my mother's people, going back like 3 generations, were on one side, Eshu devotees, Eshu, the fantastic, wonderful Yoruba deity.
Yeah.
Who's supposed to be the messenger of Olodumare, the Almighty.
That we all mistake with the English way of
because,
saying, when they say issue, we now say devil, and it's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
So, because, depending on how you look at it, after in Yoruba traditional way of believing, after, there's Olodumare, who's there, God Almighty, you don't look at, he's there, Almighty. Then you have the next level, maybe Orunmila, Obatala, Eshu. But Eshu is even like senior to them, because even the Obatala worshippers and the Orunmila people, the Ifa priests, they will still talk to Eshu first, because you have to make sure you appease Eshu for everything. So Eshu is actually high. In Yoruba traditional beliefs, is a high, very high deity. And so my mother's people on one side, Eshu devotees. In many years ago, and then my mother's people on the other side, Ifa priests. It goes down the line. Yeah. Very famous Ifa priests who are very, very highly involved, even in the formation of Ibadan. Then on my father's side, these are the priests of Owuro.
Okay.
Yeah, Owuro, the Yoruba Lord of Letters, which I've always told people, Yorubas had writing. We just forgotten it. Because you cannot have a god of letters, a lord of letters, if you didn't have literature or writing.
A god of letters that precedes
the
the coming of the white man.
So you can see where I came from. But of course, my father's people, the Owuro people, some of them became Christian. So my father became a Christian. My mother's mother, whose own mother was an Eshu, the devotee, my grandmother became a Muslim. Yeah. So I lived with my grandmother, who was a Muslim woman, but her daughter, my mother, was a Christian. So these are the people I've come through. I've had a chance to be exposed to all kinds of religions. I've read so much about religion, and I think religion is important for people, for the human mind. I think many of us, we have things inside us that need to be stilled. There's a darkness, and there's light, and there's always that competition. And most people just can't fight off that darkness. And I think religion has a way of, if it's done right, it does help people. It has its limitations, but it does help a lot of people to just stay. It's like it gives you certain rules, dogma that you follow, right? And it helps you. But there are people like me who don't need that dogma. Me, I don't want to be selfish. I won't be selfish. No, I don't want to be greedy. I won't be greedy. I don't want this woman. I don't want that. You cannot do it. I'm like that. I have been blessed with a very, very high and strong spirit. And I know it's a blessing. So I can self-regulate. So I decided a long time ago, I don't need religion. But I love all religions. They are welcome in my world. I actually studied religion a lot because I enjoy how religion is organized and everything. Yeah. And if you come to my shows, you will see them. Sisters, Christian sisters, Muslim sisters, all covered from. You'll be surprised, covered head to toe, and they are there, and they're all mingling.
They can connect.
Yeah, because they know that I'm coming from a point where all of us are connected. I'm coming with the universal truths that you will find in Christianity, in Islam, in traditional Yoruba religion, the universal truths that actually connect every human being, which we are covering up with our religious dogma, and they know that. And so when you come to my show, you know you're going to meet honesty. You're going to meet the truth there. So that's my point of, if you invite me to a place of worship, I go with people, but I'm not a religious person myself. I don't do any religion. The only thing I don't particularly like about religion in our environment right now is just that there are people who are leaders of religious bodies who are using that power to steal from the people, to destroy the people, because religion is such a powerful thing, and we can use it to develop ourselves too. People talk about religion as if it's such a bad, it's the opium of the poor. It makes the people no, but you can use it to develop your people, because what it means is you can get them to follow you and believe in something. And if you make them believe in the right, proper things, if you actually make them, because let me say when I went to church as a child, what they taught, I cannot forget it. And I tell everybody this: when I went to church as a child, and I did go to church with my mother, and I still remember the lessons. The key one, mo fẹ́ kí n dàbí Jésù, pé nínú ìwà pẹ̀lẹ́. You cannot forget that. This is the lesson: is that you must learn to be humble. Then this is what you're teaching your children from very early. It's not about Jesus; it's the ìwà pẹ̀lẹ́. You understand? It's not the
competence, the character.
We are teaching people the right, yes, but we are not doing that anymore. So now they just focus on somebody has died for us and taking all our sins now, so we just live in plenty. But we are living in plenty when people around us are not. But that is not a very Christian behavior, because a real Christian, a real Muslim will take care of his neighbor. Because if your neighbor is not happy, you cannot be happy, and you know that. If your neighbor is not at peace, you can't be happy, and it is there in Islam, it's there in Christianity. And so it would be nice if our religious bodies would teach these lessons properly. But unfortunately, most of the people who are involved in these religious bodies now are there for their own selfish means. It's for their pockets. And that's the part that I don't really like.
So Majek Fashek was not too wrong when he said religion and politics.
Yeah, well, there's politics in everything, though.
Yeah, I'm not trying to knock religion. I'm just saying the reason why I'm saying that is that, again, people came for him when he had that message. Like, he's saying, look, more or less, they are using religion to play politics.
Yes.
And no better time than now that Nigeria is on the march again. They're trying to select or elect new set of leaders and all. What's your take on what's going on? And are you a political person?
Well, we should have an interest in politics. I think it's important that we all have an interest in how our society is being run and how, because it's all of us, right? That is ideally what it's supposed to be, all of us. It should be all of us, So of course I'm interested in, and I'm very passionate about change, about seeing this society embrace the progress that it's natural destiny. This is a beautiful, beautiful environment. We need to open our eyes and flip our eyes in the different way and see what a blessing it is to have been born in this place. This is a wonderfully made environment, our society. But we haven't done well. We haven't taken care of it. We haven't improved it. We have not built it for those coming after us. We're all just concerned about the present consumption. And it's been the trend for a long, long time. And so you look at the politics now. Everybody's one side on Twitter, I see my friend or my fans making noise about one particular person. On the other side, you have people making. And my thing is just that, to be honest with you, there's not one of these people who is running right now prominent. I don't know if the ones that we don't know, maybe they're some.
Yeah, they're 19. So
I don't know.
We only know about 6 or 7.
Of all of them, not one is a quarter qualified to lead this country. Not one. These are people who have no track record of anything that a leader should have. No track record of strong convictions. No track record of honesty and truth. No track record of courage. Leadership is about courage. No track record of selfless service. They don't have it. Their lives are not plain. They have never lived their lives for their fellow man. It's at least that's what we're going to get. This is just, the whole thing in Nigeria is just a drama. I remember years ago when I met Chief Bolage, I said something, I didn't like it. At this time I was 22, at this time I was 21, and I wasn't happy with him because he said, he was our hero as a growing up, governor of Oyo State, very, very effective as a leader.
This is a,
So I thought, and a very well-spoken man, right?
Yeah.
So we were there under a spell, the magic spell of Bolage, and he was talking to us, and then, and then he said, I know I'm a lawyer, that's what I do for a living. Politics is just a game, and I didn't like that. How can politics be a game? It's about people's lives. Then I realized, later I realized, politics is, of course, is a game. Governance is not a game. They are different things.
Two different things.
But when I was young, I was just like, he said politics is a game. This is the man that we thought. And I realized, they pay us just playing the games. Right now, you can see the game. They are playing that game. So, but governance is not a game. It's about the people's lives. Unfortunately, our politics is what leads us into this governance.
Yeah.
And if we don't get the right people to lead us,
it determines the quality of governance.
Then we are in trouble. And so, of course, I am concerned. But I've always said the way forward for us is to build the individual. In my song Owuro, that came out, and Egbon likes that one. And where said, all of us have a share in the blame for the failure of this society. And we must build it from ground up. We are building from up down. We need to build from ground. We need to build the units of this nation. The people, the children, the youth. We need to build them properly.
Do you know that that's the reason why the jackpars are many?
Yes.
And that is the truth. You're speaking truth to power. And
Speaking about jackpars, Tokunbo, we are going back to your story, and we're at the point where you were playing those bar gigs.
Yeah.
Let's take it from there.
Well, so after that period, because I was working as a vet, right? And then I was looking for opportunities to perform. It was difficult. We never could get anybody no chance, nowhere. Who cared? And of course, what didn't help me was me being a doctor. The moment they had, go Joe, you're not a musician. But I'm a musician. I've written 400 songs. Forget about it. It's not about what songs have you written. In my journey to do, who's going to listen to that one? Yeah, that's what they told me. I had a demo in 1994, and everybody I showed that I played that demo for told me it was not going to go anywhere. The only person who appeared to be interested was Chris Agilo. Baba Agilo. Baba Agilo was the A&R person at Premier at the time.
That's right.
Yeah, they were just transitioning from Polygram, I think, to Premier at the time, or something like that. Yeah, Polydor, something like that. Yeah. So I met him, and I remember he listened to my demo, and he said, "You, my friend, can write songs." And I remember deep voice saying, "You can write songs. You can write songs, but we need to work on these songs. We need to work." So he said, "Come back and see me a certain time." I went back there. He had left. He was no longer. Yeah, he was no longer there. So I didn't see him again until another 20 something years, almost 30 years. And I produced this album. So when I told Baba,
the table's turned.
Yes, Baba and I were just laughing. I said, I didn't meet him again until so many years later. And then he actually invited me because he liked my music.
You had become beautiful Nubia.
Yes, he had no idea that I'd ever met him before. So he was just like, I just love this boy's music. And then so my uncle said, it's my Aburo, I can bring him to you. It might make my day. And so I went to meet him at his hometown in Ijebu. We were sitting down and then I reminded him. I said, you came to meet me? Really? I don't remember. I hope I was nice to you. I said, well, you were okay. And then, but it was just a pleasure to be able to to produce this album. It was funny. It was just funny the way life works. But anyway, I did my demos. Nobody wanted the demos. Nobody thought I had talent. In fact, people told me I couldn't sing. I should give it up.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, so in 1997, I decided, nobody wants this stuff. I'm going to have to do it myself. So I set up my company, Banker Music. And then we went to the studio, we started recording. Yeah, I've learned this business.
That's a bold move.
I've learned it the hard way. So, and then somebody will tell you, if you want to get hair play, go and meet Ojekunle at Kineko. If you want to get hair, you go there and you say, hello, sir. Can you? And that's how you start to do it. You start to meet people, and then they will say, okay, meet my boys. This is my boy. Anytime you come, and that's how you start to meet. Once you start to know people,
so you're building a network.
Yes, you start to know people here and there, and then somebody said, your voice, you can't sing. So I went to meet somebody and said, can you teach me voice training? The guy was like, your voice is good enough, but I'll teach you. Just go, So so I was good. Me, I'll always listen. Anything I have to do to improve myself, I will do it. And so then I bought a book. I remember I went to India for animal care in those days, 1996. Went for a World Poultry Congress. We were there doing veterinary business, but I bought a book on yoga. Okay. Because there was a page, I was flipping through. I saw a page that said voice exercises. I said, okay, I'm buying this book. I brought it back home. I started to do those exercises, and there's very simple exercises for your to open up your vocal cords and stuff. I mean, so I didn't just arrive here. I've done things to try to help. I don't know if those things helped me, but I've done them. I did them. Then, so 1997, we did 7 Lives, first album. We tried to launch it. We produced 1,000 cassettes. It was on cassettes in those days. 1,000. It took us a whole year to sell the 1,000.
1,000 cassettes.
No, well, I had no fans. There were no fans. Well, who had? Nobody was there to believe. It's not like now when I say Beautiful Nubia new album, people are already saying, where is it? We're buying it. It's not like now. That time, nobody knew anything. In fact, people used to be like, what is Beautiful Nubia even?
And there was no social platform
there was nothing to sell it. So we sold, the 1,000, there are still places to today that are still owing us money. So I'm not when we say we didn't sell, because I learned in marketing until you collect the money. You haven't
So you
sold.
can't count it as sales.
No, we didn't sell them, but we got them out. And then I had to go through so much because I ran out of money. By the time we launched the album, I had no money left. I was in debt. I was owing my printers, owing this person, owing that person.
This was 97.
97. And it was a difficult time. But the story about that, which I'm sure if there's any young person listening to us was 1997 when I recorded this album. The amount of money I had in my account, because I've always been good at saving. I always save. If today I tell you I don't have a kobo, say that lie. It means I don't have a kobo I can spend.
I can use, yeah.
But I always have savings. It might be small, but I always have savings. And so I had my savings, and then one Egbon had this Toyota Celica, red, beautiful. So that old Celica with the big engine in front,
That one
car.
with the-
And he had it, and I went to look at it, and it was the same amount of money I
That you had
needed
saved up.
for the
project.
recording.
Okay.
So I had seen the car first. I was going to buy the car anyway. I was looking at the car, thinking, young man, I should ride this car. Nice.
Yes, no.
And then we went to get our estimate for the recording, and it was about the same amount. So I had to make a choice. I didn't even think twice about it. There was no choice there for me. My music is always come first. I have chosen my music over women. When I was young in my 20s and some girlfriend would come, I've come for the weekend. Say, we didn't have cell phone those days, so they just appear suddenly.
Yeah.
You've come. I'm going to the studio.
I have recording.
I'm going to the studio.
No. Don't tell me.
Then she said, I've come all the way from Guinea to come and see you. Me, I'm going to the studio.
Today is not.
I'm going to the studio. Is this who you are? I didn't know you're like this. So, what music are you even playing? Music does not take you anywhere. Music that, they will abuse me and leave me. But my music, I have chosen, So this deliberate actions that I have taken over the years is what has led us to where we are now. It's not just luck or just prayers. We've prayed and we've been lucky, but we've done a lot of work, deliberate actions. And so we did the launch in 1997. Ganifaya and Baba, Ganifaya and the lawyer was supposed to be there. I was thinking big. I invited Ganifaya and invited Chief Bola Ige, invited some. They didn't show up. Nobody showed up. The launch, half of the hall was empty. I had an advert in the Punch, an advert in the, I think in the Tribune. I paid for advert on Ray Power. In those days, yeah, because I was thinking big. Nobody showed up but people were there. My family, some of my friends were there. So I was thinking of all these things at the time, that I was going to be big, beautiful Nubia. You do this album, you'll become very famous, big, then you can leave your paid employment and become an artist. It didn't happen. So
what did that do to you?
I'm a stubborn fella.
I know.
I'm a very stubborn fella.
All
so
Seguns
you push me.
All Seguns
You're looking for my trouble. And everybody's telling me, it's okay, now that you've done the album, even you've done it now, you wanted to satisfy yourself. Can you go back and continue as your vet?
Go and face your
At
job.
least now you can say you've done the album.
By that time, you had resigned.
No, I didn't resign. No, I didn't. I was still working. So I decided. One day, a friend of mine came. It was nice. He meant well. Spent some time with me, and I walked with him. You know the way we do when we walk somebody to the bus stop or something.
Yeah.
I walked him, and on all the way there, he was telling me how you've done well, you've done this, but it's time now for you to be thinking, settling down. You have a good job. Don't lose this job. Don't you've done this album, but move on now. Life is more than just doing blah blah. So when he left, I saw him to the bus stop. On the way back home, I wrote, "Woke up this morning." I composed it on the walk back. I got nowhere to go. Something in my heart tells me I shouldn't cry. Tears are for babies, worries are for fools. Life will always bow down to the man with faith. And I told myself, I'm not backing down. You people, you think I'm going to do this musical because this is the job that nature picked me for. There must be a reason why I got this gift. It can't just be for me to be putting it there. No, I have to use this gift to improve my people, to help my people, to teach my people, to guide my people, to energize my people, to show my people the path to growth and development. I must use it. And so I wrote that song. And from that day, anybody talking, you're wasting your time. 1999, I managed to raise some more money.
Yeah.
Second album. And that was when the windows started to open small. Sometimes we want to enter a house, they don't go open door, but they go open one window. So they open one window small for me that time.
That's the voice from heaven.
Yes, and that's where we had Jọ̀wọ́ bàbá Elédùmarè wá súre fún wa. Jọ̀wọ́ bàbá Elédùmarè wá gbọ́ o. Which was, like a jam. And we shot a very nice eye-catching video for it. And it got a lot of rotation on TV. And then there was something called the Kora All Africa Music Awards at the time, which was big for us in Africa at the time, in Nigeria. And, and I think Lagwaja had either won it or he had been nominated there. King Sunny Ade had been there. Femi Kuti had actually won it or something too, right? So here I was, the total unknown. Me, I was a total unknown. And I was the only artist nominated for that award that year.
From Nigeria?
Yes, and all the people started writing about me. The first time Nigerian newspapers would write about me without me giving out brand envelopes. The first time. And they were all writing, saying, who is this? Actually, I still remember the gentleman who wrote it in this day. This is you don't forget this. He said, a virtual unknown is Nigeria's sole candidate or something at the Kora Awards this year. A virtual, I was like, yes, I am that virtual unknown. But that was the beginning. And that's my picture in the papers, right? And then you start going out around Agege and people ask, beautiful Nubia. I said,
okay, it's happening.
So, and that was the beginning, I think. And then, of course, I decided that I needed to take a little, I felt at the time, and this is the time I used to see you quite a bit, Tokunbo. I used to come to LTV, Echo FM, all those places. I used to be around a lot, speaking with people, but I was, I knew that I wasn't doing the music I wanted to do. See, 7 Lives was very reggae tinged. The first album.
It was.
Yeah. It was all, fat girl, I know the way you're feeling. You need a man beside you. I'm gonna be there. Because every man want a loving girl. And then, Voice from Heaven had a lot of rock and house.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
But that wasn't my sound. It was part of my sound, but it wasn't my sound.
Okay.
All that time I've been working with a lot of people in the studio, like my guy I called my producer, the engineers. And in actual fact, Voice from Heaven was highly influenced by the engineer, a gentleman named Akim Ado. He's still doing his work now. Wow. Yeah, Akim.
A big shout out to Akim Ado, man. Thank you for your work. He's still
out there. And Akim, was, Doctor, this song you are singing, don't sing it like that Owuro. Sing it like, it's house. So a lot of these decisions have been taken by these people. So we did it. And then, but I knew, I liked it, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I knew there was a sound. There's a sound in my head that I've had since I was a child. This is a sound that is supposed to be my sound. It's there in my head. And I need to find a quiet place to do it. Around that time, I told you I'd gone to India. I've been traveling to Zimbabwe, South Africa, Ghana. So I thought I just need a place where I can go and nobody will know me. A place where I could just be quiet. I could become nobody. I won't be Dr. Akinlolu anymore. I don't, so I decided I went to, I had applied to go to Canada as a vet many years before, just for fun. I didn't think,
take it serious.
I didn't think I was going to go. I saw it in the Time magazine saying, Canada needs you, with a finger pointing. It's lawyers trying to take money from people saying, but I went through the process. I just did it for fun. I wasn't really interested in it. But the time that I decided, I think I need a place to go. That was when the Canadian people just called me and said, come for an interview. I was like, okay, this is really where you see fate and luck or whatever come together. It was like, okay. So I said, I went there and they said, we're going to give you, so I got this visa. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to that country. This is what I've been looking at. Because I was actually going to go to Zimbabwe. I had gone to Zimbabwe that year and I loved it there. And I wanted to go back there and spend like a year.
Okay.
And just create this and let the sound come. I just wanted to be different. I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. When I got to Canada, I now I got there, I was sending my materials out to everybody, the US, in Europe, this great Nigerian artist, this great musician, this great songwriter. Hoping that somebody will pick me up and I'll become this international star.
Yeah.
And none of that. I was having meetings with people, spending money, traveling all over North America. And then none of that was working. But I was learning about the nature of the music industry at that level. Because you have to learn. I was learning. All my idealism was, you can be a dreamer. You can think, you can read a music magazine and think this is how it's supposed to be. But in actual fact, things are not that way. When today, for example, you see a guy on the cover of Rolling Stone and you think that it's because he's great. It's because he has been paid for. People don't realize that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When you hear that people have filled up some hall in some place, things have been paid for.
Yeah.
exchange.
It's not organic.
Yeah.
It's not that you say I'm playing today at the Kiniko and people have showed up. No, but that's the nature of the music. And over there, it's there. You get a music agent. They start to plug your stories in newspaper. You pay for it, and then
they understand the industry.
Yes.
Because what they have there and which we are trying to get to
yeah.
is an industry.
Where there's a path, and you just know if you want to be part of it, you have to play the game, or else just stay independent and
do your
be
thing.
independent, which is what I have always been, So then I ran out. So I was running low on funds, of course, but I was doing what I had gone there to do, which was to get the sound out. So songs like Baba Mimo Iwo Ọlọ́run gbogbo àgbáyé ọ̀rọ̀ ayé ṣòro ọ̀rọ̀ ayé ṣòro ọ̀rọ̀ ayé. So I was writing all these songs, and I remember at some point I decided I think I'm almost ready. I'm going to go back to Nigeria and record this album, and this album will make my name. And I wrote it down. I have a place where I wrote it. I actually wrote it down one morning in a coffee shop. I had been working in a factory all night. I'll talk about the factory work now, but I've been working in the factory all night, and I came to a coffee shop because I was working 2 jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had like 2 hours before the next job. So I was and I wrote on this piece of paper, Jangbala Jubu, this album will make my name. I wrote it. I still have it.
You still have it?
Yes, I just wrote it down on it. Because I was thinking, this affirmation now, you have to say this thing.
Yes.
I was saying it to myself, this was going to make my name, this one, this one is going to be the one.
Speak it into existence.
So
some people call it manifesting.
Yes, that's it. I mean, you do, anybody you find, people who do things like this, they will tell you, they've done it. People do it, you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's how you make things, you want something to be, you have to call it into being, and then you do the work. So so talking about the work, of course, then my money was running out, and I was going to come back to Nigeria to record my album. There was never any idea that I had left Nigeria. There was nothing ever like that. My band was still in Nigeria, and they knew I was coming back, and we were going to record an album. So we did the estimates, the money we needed. I knew I didn't have it. I had no money left in Nigeria, of course. Everything I had taken with me so that
to Jackpa.
The bed to survive. No, I didn't Jackpa. No,
not Jackpa.
There's
to
no
Jackpa.
No, I didn't jar anything. I like to explain to people.
You just travel.
We need to explain to people. Yes,
So
anybody in the world can.
He has responded.
The whole thing about traveling, and I want Nigerians to understand. We have this idea that if somebody goes abroad, it's done something amazing. There's nothing big there.
Yeah.
There's nothing big about it.
So,
It's how we've been oppressed here that makes us think. Young kid, 14, they can come here. I see Americans. There was a boy I met, 19-year-old poet. He had a visa for Nigeria, Ghana. He was coming and said, you can travel. 19-year-olds in my country can't travel anyhow.
They can't.
But you, because you are Canadian or American, you can just go and they give you this visa and you just go there. You go all over West Africa. You pick up all the drumming and everything. You come here and start using it to make money. You pick up all, But it's just the way the world is organized right now, and the way we ourselves have conditioned our minds. People want to talk to me about this Canada thing all the time. I said, what's big about it? That an artist, it's like I live in Ibadan, but I have a show in Lagos. I'll go and do my show in Lagos. I can live anywhere. As an artist, I can live anywhere in the world. As a top artist, I should be able to live
That's
anywhere
the way
in
it
the
should
world.
be.
An American artist can come and live. There are artists now, if you go to Ghana now, so many of them. Jamaican artists live in Ghana now. Many American artists live in Ghana now. They live there, they have a home there, but they work in the US. They go to the US to do their work. So anyway, when I realized I didn't have enough money, so I decided I was going to go work in the factories. I'm not talking about factories these are factories where you are loading boxes or you are building car parts and I worked 2 jobs in deep winter, very cold. I had never experienced winter in my whole life, and Canada is very famous for its winters. Very cold. Like sometimes minus 35, I'm out there.
What part of Canada was this?
I was in Toronto at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I worked these jobs, 2 jobs, one all night and then one during the day. And then when I was working, I was writing these songs. I was enjoying myself. That one, I wrote it one day in a factory. I wrote it to the rhythm of the machine. I was working in the candy factory at that time. That candy factory, we would dump in sugar and dump in some other things, and then the machine will make it into like candy. And I was the supervisor. I was the floor supervisor there. Don't forget I had been a veterinary doctor in Nigeria.
And you love
with my,
candies.
I had a driver, I had everything.
And
Right?
you love candies.
Well, I love what.
Take it, pilfering from mom's.
No.
That
Anyway,
was
I did.
many years
I
ago.
did, but working in a candy factory.
Candy.
But working in a candy factory,
Changed everything.
you won't eat it.
No, I didn't mean that. No. Now you're misleading me. You are misleading me. And you're going to succeed about that. No. All I said was another opportunity for you
To continue my love affair with candy.
to appreciate the candy.
Oh, to appreciate it. Well, the process of making it, yes.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, to see, because a lot of the what I did then, I worked in a car factory as well. I worked in a window making factory. These are things that I think it was an opportunity to learn new things. But I was happy. People didn't understand why I was happy there. I was happy about the music. It was the music that was taking me there.
Because you kept on flowing. You
I
kept
was
on writing.
I was enjoying it. I had gone back to the child I was. I didn't have any hairs anymore. I wasn't Dr. Anybody here. Nobody knew me there. I was just a guy who worked in the candy factory floor,
So
packing sugar.
to the sound or the rhythm
Of that machine.
of that candy making machine.
I was singing Eja ma ba won so ki mama shi wa baje mo. So I mean all kinds of environments, all kinds of
Inspiration from the atmosphere
was coming, and I was just grabbing it and doing it. And once I was done, I packed my bag and came back here and we recorded Jambala Jibo, and that in 2002, and that was the breakthrough.
I'm sorry, it still remains my favorite Beautiful Nubia album, and I was privileged to be at the French Cultural Center
Wow.
a couple of years ago.
Wow.
When it was still on Alfred Rewane.
Yes, a couple of years.
Yeah.
That's, since you always count your you count your days in 20 years.
So you I'm sure you know what year that was.
Yes, a couple of years. That must have been like 2000 and because we used to play there quite a bit.
Yeah.
But the last time we played there was 2005, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what you're talking about.
It was a beautiful show, and after the show, you did a meet and greet. It was just, we took pictures. I still have those pictures,
Wow.
and it was my first live performance. Before that time, we had the album.
Okay.
So my friend is in Canada now, Benga Turner.
Okay.
His wife, then they were dating, now his wife now, Diola. Diola is a massive fan of yours too. Diola Adedoyin, the Adedoyin family, she's from there. So she was just like, oh, yeah, okay. And so we heard it. And while we were doing that, the other guy that came through now, Jide Olawekwa, another massive fan of yours, he's a doctor too, had bought your album too.
Okay.
And we were like, we have it too. So we started playing. So we had to go look for 7 Lives, and all of
the
that.
The other ones, yeah.
I've tried to keep tabs with Awilele and 1 or 2 and all of that. And the consistency shows someone with a repertoire. Yeah. It's not someone that wants to struggle to put out music.
No.
The
music is there.
We're talking about over 10
Well,
studio albums.
we've done 18 studio albums so far.
Yeah.
But we have other things. We have like poetry, we have live albums, we have acoustic albums. So online right now we have over 450 tracks that people can buy. Yeah.
From Beautiful Nubia.
Yeah.
450.
Yes.
It's amazing because if you look at it, if say peradventure we want to put it on averages and say 12 to 15 songs per album, you're talking about talking about how many albums there?
Some of our albums have like 12, some have 15.
Yeah.
The last one we did, the one
you just
Buruhara, has 28 tracks.
28.
Yeah.
In that one.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a double CD album.
And in case you guys are wondering, this is it. Go check out Beautiful Nubia. There's a website.com.
Yes.
Beautifulnubia.com, and check him out. It's very active on social media too, Twitter and Facebook
And Instagram.
Check him out and reach out to the management. You want to buy the books. There's a book actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have. This is autographed, by the way. Okay.
Talking about lift it up. Yeah, let them.
Yeah, that's it. Sounds
of Joy.
Joy.
That's my biography, my autobiography.
It's an autobiography.
Yeah.
And this is also available. You can reach out to get these things because
Thank you so much.
when you buy these materials, you are buying a piece of history. You can call me over enthusiastic. You can say I am embellishing. I don't mind. I'm just speaking my own truth. And I am glad that people are documenting things. So the autobiography is out. Search for it. Segun Akinlolu is the name, is the man. Go check him out. He is beautiful Nubia. And and we're on that journey. And because we're pressed for time, that's why if it wasn't for that, we won't be doing all this. We'll just tie him down and have him talk for hours. And maybe we'll rush out and go and buy an acoustic guitar and give him.
Let's go. Let's start a concert.
He's not in a hurry to leave.
He's not. So back to that. You went to Canada and wrote so many songs. The best opportunity for you was the ability to work by writing those songs without pressure. Like the normal pressure that you felt here, you didn't there.
I didn't have it.
So you focused and you put out a lot of material. Then you came back home. And that was the album.
Yes.
And you already manifested that album and the success that it was going to
come
by writing it down to say, this album is
will
going
make
to
my name.
And it did.
Yes.
It did.
And I still remember the day we finished the recording at Aphrodisia Studios at Abule Oja, Yaba. When we finished that album, I'm talking about for real, kobo, that coin.
For real?
I had no kobo left to my name anywhere in the world.
After the production?
We were done. I had no money left. I had nothing. I didn't have, of course I had a car. I had borrowed my father's car because I had already sold my things.
To travel?
To do my traveling, yeah. And then when I came back, I didn't sell everything, but I had already given a lot of things out and I didn't have much. So, and in terms of
in material things.
So I didn't even have a car. So I went and basically hijacked my father's car.
From Ibadan.
Yeah, I just kind of half carried to Lagos because the car was really half dead. I was driving the car was driving me. So we managed to get to the Lagos. So I was using that, but I had nothing left. I had no money, nothing left. So I still remember, I didn't have any sense of doom or fear.
No fear.
I was happy. That day I was also happy. I just had the album, like, I've done it. The album is there. This album said, hey, you will see. And then the first person I gave it to, a friend of mine, and I said, and he told me, oh, it's a good thing you've given it to me to go listen to. I'm going for a trip with my wife and our 3 children, little kids below 10. And then we have our nieces with us. He said, so I represent the men of Nigeria. My wife, women of Nigeria.
And the children are there.
My children are the children of Nigeria. The youth, the
niece.
They are going to be the youth. We're going to listen to this on this trip. It was like a 4-hour trip. And then we'll listen to it going and coming back. And I'll give you feedback. And when he came back, he said, we all like the album, but we all agreed it won't sell in this country. We all agreed it won't sell. It will sell abroad, not here. It's not commercial. It's just nice. And that my friend eats his words every time he sees me eat. But I knew this. Then I remember the gentleman I talked about earlier, Tunde Lawyer. I don't know if he's different things to different people, but to me, Alesh was always a good friend. He was always a nice person to me. He was always, he always treated me like I was some kind of mini god. The moment I arrived, he'd be like, the Baba sound, the sound, Nubia, what you have, you don't even know.
That's Alesh.
Yeah, you are this sound. So when I played him, he just thought, this album will sell. And I said, but nobody will play it. He said, you leave it with us at Eko FM. When we start here, everybody will be begging you that they want to play it. And that's what happened.
That's it.
And before you knew it, it was all over the place at Eko FM. I think it was Radio Lagos Eko FM. They were the first ones to really fully embrace it and adopt it. And once it went there, like Alesh said, everybody started begging. People will come from different stations and say, can we have that album? You have to go and buy it, though. And then, and that's how it started.
Very true.
And that was the first thing that, it became popular. Then, how do you sell it? Even at that time, and that's at the point where I realized even someone like that, Alesh, was a bit stumped. Because he thought, the album is selling now. In fact, we have people who come around to the station like marketers, and they come sometimes. And one of them, I've talked to him, he should be, so he called the guy, called Martin or whatever his name was. And I remember meeting this guy, and he just was like, Atidumota, this is where the market is, and I don't think we can't really sell this thing. And Alex was pushing him like, hey, you buy 2,000 copies just to start. You'll be surprised. People love this music. In fact, they are calling us on radio and asking where they can buy it. The man wasn't convinced. The marketer wouldn't take our work. So we went and got the first 2,000 cassettes.
For yourselves.
And people like Yemisho Dimu will sell it on their TV shows. And that's how we started, on radio shows. And people started to sell them. And I gave them to people like the FM to say, if people ask you they want it, this is how. And that's how we started selling this album. And the 2,000 copies went zip. As within a year or two, you come to my office in the Ikeja at that time, and there will be a lineup around the corner.
People coming.
People from Alaba and marketers lining up, fighting themselves
to
for
buy.
copies. Because often we have only 100,000 copies left. 100,000
So
copies.
just kept on pressing more and
Yes.
pressing
So we
more.
have 100,000 copies, and there will be like 5 people there saying they wanted 50,000 each. And then I will say, you can only get 10,000 each. And then it got to be like that. Within 4 or 5 years, we have sold 1 million copies of that album.
Wow.
Not that I can tell you what happened to the money.
Yeah, no.
Money is coming in, it's going out.
Yeah,
So because when I talk about people like, you must have been rich, I say, I only know we sold over 1 million copies within 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
But I can't tell you what, because we were, and then after that, people were like,
Now-
this album you've produced.
Now,
Okay,
for an album that sold 1 million, we don't have the records. No certifications. No awards, nothing to say. No, I'm not talking about the regular awards. Oh, Beautiful Nubia is the best. This we know that. I'm talking about how album sales
because we don't.
should be documented. We don't do that. So, this guy has
whether to have a
platinum.
Or,
you know.
that's a very good observation, though. But you know what happened during that particular time, because he was the sole man in charge. He was the one
independent,
running, dropping, shouting, doing everything by himself. So the others,
even in being independent,
Yeah.
Mr. T, still would not have made anybody in this country keep those records. The ones that were signed up, how many of them did you hear?
You have the records. Yeah.
That they have this exact number.
Shola,
That King Sonny Ade
Shola, we are
released.
saying the same thing.
No, I'm not. We're not
let me
arguing.
explain. We're saying the same thing because
It's just that you're giving them a soft landing that I don't want.
No, let me explain. It's part of it. You know what I'm saying? We're saying the same thing that you don't realize. Okay, in those days, okay, the first thing that strikes the business for them, particularly the companies that buy you up, okay, is it going to sell? It is not. What's the quality? And that was the reason why the likes of Baba Jilo got a job with Premier Music, because as an AR manager, he will sit back and he sees beyond the microphone and tells you, oh God, this thing will move. But at that point in time, we didn't have the Baba Jilos
anymore.
We didn't have them. So what you did was a big, brilliant step. That's why I said that your step, right? You let all the recording companies fall like pack of cards. They fell, pack of cards. You got the media behind you. You got the commitment of people behind you. People went to Alaba to queue up for your sound.
Yes.
They didn't, and that's the magic. That's why I was asking you, what is the magic of Beautiful Nubia? There's just something about Beautiful Nubia that takes over the all senses. Everybody just aligns with it.
I think because it's something that has to be. It's something that's beyond the artist. It's something that has to be for the good of our people. I think people still think too much about me. A friend of ours, you might Akin. You might know him. Yeah, Akin one day, he wrote something on Facebook one day, and he's not the first one who's written it. He one day just wrote, he said, what this man is doing, he didn't tag me. Somebody actually said, see what Akin wrote about you today. He said, he just, because he didn't know I was going to say it, but he wrote it there. He said, what this guy is doing, it will assume a huge, whatever, very important for our people many years from now.
Yeah.
We don't realize it yet. That it's basically record keeping for us. It's basically record keeping our values, record keeping. I mean, and many people have said the same thing, that this is what, but this is the job of the artist. In a time of crisis, in a time of chaos, when society is just, we are so far from what we could be. And there are artists who can help us to document things and say, well, this is how we should live our lives. So this is how a normal society should be. And it will be there as a record for those who are coming. And I think because you are working in tune with nature, you are spreading the message of nature. Now, people who are religious can say something. There's a way they will say it. But this is just basic way of saying it. If you are working in tune with nature, you are doing what you are supposed to do to enable the right things to happen in nature. And then the path will always open. Everything will be there. The right people will always be there to promote it. They won't even know why they are doing it.
Speaking about working in tune with nature and everything, and we're following it, it's chronological, but we can stagger it but still come back. And you've talked about the creation process of some of those songs that would be something that I'm going to go back to listen to and watch again, even if I'm involved in this interview, which is a privilege. Ojúmọ́ ti mọ́ ara mi ẹ gbéra nílẹ̀ iṣẹ́ ti yá. Ojúmọ́ ti mọ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi ẹ sára kiri. Oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́ alákọ̀wé o. You started that song with Yoruba.
Yes.
Then you moved to Good morning, I greet you. How do you do?
Yeah.
Where was this song written? Because now, at least we're seeing the background of it. Where was it written? How was it written? How was the song made? How was it made?
So
Owuro
Lojo.
Lojo. How was Owuro Lojo made?
Owuro Lojo and a song like Ikukwakufo, they have something similar. They were written on demand. Basically, I don't like to write on demand. I like my songs to come.
Just flow.
I told you how the first song came to me. The songs just come to me and I just write.
You were 9 years old then.
But when people then, because now they know he's a songwriter, they now ask me, write a song for Boom Radio, saying Boom Radio is now 20 years old. I'm supposed to do Boom Radio at 20, and I do not like that thing because you're basically you're putting that thing on me. You're saying, Segun, Akinlolu or Beautiful Nubia, you're such a great songwriter. We know you're going to write us a great song. How do you know it's going to be great? I do not like that kind of thing. They're putting me under pressure. Like, I do not like it. If I write a song and you see a song that you like, take it and adapt it to suit. The song is already proven. The melody is already proven. So you call it Boom Radio, whatever. Do it, whatever you want with it.
Wrong with it.
People already know it. But the one you say, go and write a new one for me, is always, So that Owuro Lojo, it was the gentleman we talked about earlier. It was Sukomi Sanusi.
There was a program, but I wanted to learn. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And you were involved in it.
I was.
I just remember Sukomi that I think he was the one who told me or something that there's a morning thing.
We had a program, Owuro Lojo. Okay, it was to launch. We have this usually program planning conferences.
Yeah,
we have them.
Of course.
So it was very regular in those days. Every quarter, programs would change. So, and you would do it a quarter ahead.
Okay.
So a quarter ahead has shown us by December, there's going to be a new program. Maybe we are now in about June. We have planned it. So for Owuro Lojo was like, a morning talk show, music drive talk show, all Yoruba in context, So he was smart enough to plan ahead of time.
To say, okay, let's get
something. Because we're looking for signature tunes.
That was what it was. It was a signature tune.
It was a signature tune. We couldn't get signature tunes. Okay? And most of the albums you had, most of the releases we had at that time, including Time Now Money, that was done by late Ray Mike Wachuku.
Okay.
And it was done for Radio Port Harcourt or something. Port Harcourt FM. So we started thinking like that. So I didn't know where the contract came for Beautiful to come. It was the final day we were going to do this thing, and then they just put the CD and they played the CD and then, what are you looking for? This man used to stop. Yeah, exactly.
Because he just said that we are thinking of this radio thing.
Yeah.
Can you write us a song that waking up people in Lagos? So one in Yoruba and one in English. So I wrote Good Morning, Sweet Lagos. That's what I wrote.
Okay.
It was Sweet Lagos.
How do you do
That's what I wrote.
And what was Good Morning Lagos?
Yeah, and the other one was Owuro Lojo. So that's what I wrote. It was 2 songs that I wrote for them. So,
Brilliant.
and I don't remember if you ever used it.
We did.
You did? Okay. I don't remember.
It was a signature tune.
Oh, wow.
We did.
Wow.
Talk. What?
I
We
don't
use
remember.
it.
So it was when I was going to record the
We
album.
did.
I just thought, and I mean, write my song. I just joined them together. I made one song out of it. Yeah, I will change a few words and then we just join them.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Such
So it was like basically write on demand. I was asked to write a song on demand.
I'm happy that this came out.
It's such a beautiful song.
And the same thing with Ikuku Akufo was for a movie. That's Tunde Kelani's Narrow Path. So it just gave me a synopsis. Said, okay, synopsis for the movie. Can you do a song? And I wasn't happy. I felt honored that they had asked me, but I didn't like the fact that you're putting me on the. But I did it. I wrote the song. It's one of our biggest hits. If you start that song at any of our shows, you see how people.
Everybody's singing, yeah.
So,
That's the beauty of creativity. We're still going to take you up on a few more songs. I'm sorry, it might sound selfish, but there are a couple of other songs, especially on that album. You know, the people are ready.
people are ready. Yeah, that's one of the ones I wrote.
Speaks to now, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The people are ready.
But
Are they really ready?
are we ready though? Because in this new album, Uruhara, that came out in 2000, I'm right. There's a song there saying there are 2 songs. Uruhara and Walan.
I love it.
It comes from one of the songs. It's a song in that album called Eseodo. He goes, oh meji lo mo, oh mo teni to mo meji la, oh merin lo mo, oh mo teni to mo merin la, oh wanke wo omi ke wiri wiri, wara onro pi omi dun Uruhara. And that's you're making noise. You don't even know much, my friend. You know, because
empty barrel or something.
a lot of our, a part of our, a lot of our problems. People here think they know, they already know. You can't even talk to them. But if we learn to be humble and listen to ourselves, we can learn a lot about ourselves and how we can change our society, how we can fix us. And I'm talking to a lot of young people through these songs. That I noticed that there's a sense that we think we already know. You may know 2 things, but you don't know as much as somebody who knows 12. He may not talk about it. But if you listen and you humbly approach him, he can teach you the 10 you don't know. But to go around because you know 2 things, you know, mutimo, you don't know it yet. You know. So, what were you talking about again?
Are the people ready?
ready.
It's a blessing.
It's great. Yes, great.
It is a blessing.
Yeah, so
Are the people ready?
on this Uruhara, I'm sure you are looking at the album just now.
Yeah.
There's a song called Are You Ready?
Yeah.
And following it is When Will You Be Ready?
Yeah.
There are 2 songs, one after the
back
other.
to back, yeah.
Are you ready? When will you be ready? I mean, there's 2 songs because if you listen to my music, I'm talking to our people all the time. Even in the most, the one that you think is simple, like oh what a feeling. A song like oh what a feeling, burning me all up. I can't help myself. Baby, I wanna love you. The key thing is that I want to love you. It's stronger than I love you. I love you has been overused. It's been over. You know, people say it. You just say it. But when you say you want to love someone, like I want to do this, man. I want to.
That's
really.
another place where you use Yoruba and English together.
Yes.
You know, because it's a love song. It's a love song. It's on one of our love song playlists. This particular one.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
what a feeling, burning me all
It's
up.
something I love to do. I love to do it. Because if I could speak other languages, I'd probably do a song in 10 languages. But because I can only speak Yoruba and English, I like to play around. And it's something I do. I don't do it often. I don't do it because I just want to do it. It's what works. What a feeling, for example. Ara eba mi gboro kan o. That verse, I wrote it in 1984. Yes, when I was a student in high school. That's when I wrote that one. And then in 1994, 10 years later, I was working as a vet. That's when I wrote, oh, what a feeling. I was singing the Yoruba part. I was driving home. That time I used to live at Ipaja. Anybody who knew that area in those days? Poto everywhere.
Yeah, traffic.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I remember being in all that stuff, just driving slowly. And I was singing my own song. And it just came to me that, oh, what a feeling. Sounded like a nice chorus to go with it. So I drove home quickly. I wrote it down. See, this song now, and that's the chorus. I thought the song was finished before, but now it's not finished. This is the chorus. And then one day, when I was in that Canada writing to finish the album.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my that's the third part. That came in 5 years later.
So that
that song took
15 years.
15 years.
15
to
years.
complete, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
One song.
One song. So, but sometimes a song like 7 Lives, I wrote it in one day. In one moment of inspiration, I wrote it. So it depends, this.
But really, the Umaba came later.
Yes. That was the part that came last. So I just added at the end.
Beautiful. You are full of surprises. Come on. What?
So I've done that.
And I really love the track.
Yeah, I
really
do. I've done it so
track.
many times with a lot of my. Because remember, even the songs that are being released now, some of them the choruses are. I've got a song that's come to me now, and I'm singing it. Then I think, I need a chorus. I need a bridge. Then I go into my books. I've written over 1,000 songs, right? So I have them books. So I take this book, start looking.
You're physically writing the songs down.
All my songs are written down physically.
With pen and paper.
Yes.
Now.
And the music.
Well, till now.
Now I just type
them out.
type them out. But no, sorry, what am I saying? I still write them out.
You still have the book?
Yes, I still write them out.
Right.
I just don't write them in a book
In a book.
numbers.
Okay.
I'm very scattered now. So I have
maybe on a piece of paper.
So
here.
That's not aging, by the way.
No, that's not. No.
No.
That's just me.
That's
just me.
You have to speak for yourself. Tokunbo picks pen and paper, and he's writing everything down. Keeps the paper.
They always laugh at me when I write.
And he goes get another piece of paper.
But I know what I'm doing.
Always writing. Always.
But I know where everything is.
Oh wow, that's lovely.
And no matter how
Scattered.
I know where everything is. If you clean up, you mess up my system. So nobody cleans. My wife knows. Don't clean the table.
Just leave it the way it is.
Even the one that you think is because I when I'm writing, I like to make arrows, this paper.
Yeah.
I'm always making things, boats. I'm thinking, right? I'm just doing it. And sometimes I've written things inside those things. You don't throw them out because the important things written there. I will unfold it and it will be there. So she knows now. Don't clean his office. Just leave his office the way it is.
Leave it. Just leave it.
So there are this. I mean, the way. Sometimes I've written a new song and then I go back to my old books and I just flip it through and then I find something I like. Okay, I'm gonna use this as the bridge or as a hook. And so a lot of these songs now. I mean, if you're a songwriter, this is what you do. It's a craft. It's something that you become better and better at. And at some point, you should be able to say, I'm good at this. And I can tell you, I am very good at this.
Oh, yeah, we know. We know.
Are you thinking of a master's class?
Well, we've tried to, in the past, to lead some. Usually, but I mean, something that I'm interested in, because I do teach people, but I've never really done. I've tried to do a couple of formal occasions, like situations where I've trained people. Yeah, a few, but especially during our festivals, and I've tried to do that. I did one that was free. Then we did one that we tried to say people should register for, and nobody wanted to pay for it. So
it's something that we would like to be a part of. We've always talked about doing something like that, and if there's an opportunity to partner on that kind of project, because again, we still need to put out information. We need to train people. We need to teach them. Because do you see? I get how now Nigerian music is the rave. Only last night, a few hours ago, actually, the American Music Awards created their Afrobeats.
They've gone
award now, and they gave it to Wizkid. Then Wizkid and Thames also won for R&B song, which is not a category that Nigerian music would normally be in.
Yeah.
And Wizkid, they won it for that same song, Essence. And I listen to all music from 50s, 40s, down to now.
Down, yeah.
So you are versed in the art of music. What is your honest assessment of where we are, and what do you think we need to do to move forward?
Well, where we are, it's hard for me because there's no industry here, right? There's no infrastructure. There's no infrastructure to help music. It's always hard because when I talk, people sometimes think I'm talking as a musician, so that maybe I'm kind of maybe he's jealous
or he's beef.
But that's not it. I understand the pop music, that this is pop music, but that's not really our music. I don't think that should be our music. I think there's pop music that people can dance to in clubs, but I don't know if we should make that mainstream that our children listen to, I find it quite limiting. Those beats are limiting. The direction of the music is very limiting. Music is a very, very powerful force. It's a very, very powerful force. You can run people mad. You can stream music in a way that you can suggest madness to people's lives.
Oh, yeah.
You can suggest chaos and destruction to people's lives, or you can suggest growth and positivity. And we are not using the power of music properly. I think just like everything in Nigeria is chaotic, I say that the music is chaotic too. I mean, I understand people will think entertainment is music, but that's not what I'm talking about. There's entertainment for what it is. So a lot of the music we're talking about now, that's entertainment music. It's different. It's like you have what they call muzak, the stuff they play in malls and stuff. Like you just play, just their background music. There's that. There's all kinds of music. But unfortunately for us, we are making this stuff that's just also, I think it's supposed to just be like dance hall music. You've not made it your mainstream music that on radio, on Monday morning, on Tuesday morning, during the days what we are playing. We are playing, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but there's an old schooler here. Maybe, but I think there should be better programming on radio and better programming generally in our media. There's music for after work, like in the evening. There's music for the night. There's music for Friday nights. There's music for Monday morning. It's not this kind of music that we are. So, because we don't have that infrastructure, that organization, I think that's where we are. Where we are. I cannot tell you that I'm proud that anybody is winning any award abroad, because the award you need to win is the one in Nigeria. That's the one we need to win. Many Nigerians are always looking out there. Every Nigerian artist thinks about international. That is not success. Success is developing. That's how I think. It's subjective. That's my way of thinking. No, success is developing this place. If you're from here, you have a gift. If you are using your gift to develop this place or to do something special, something amazing in this place, all the rest, the Grammy Awards, Sola, right?
Yeah.
I need to say it because I think many people are hearing us, who are hearing us, they may not like it. It's an American thing. It's an American award. Why are we always chasing after these things? They don't really, I don't know, we are seeking validation. Oh, I am a musician. And until some American guy validates me, I don't exist. But when the American artist sets out, he doesn't think about Nigeria. They have 300-something million. We have 200-something million people here too. This is a huge market. And when the American artist sets out, and when he wants to plan his touring, he doesn't think of touring in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. He doesn't come here to book the biggest hall in Nigeria to play there. It doesn't work that way. This is a huge place. 200 million people. We can do so much business, but we need to develop the business.
I share your sentiments. Recently, the biggest awards in Nigeria was moved to the US. Who came out? We're supposed to be friends, right? And people say, yeah, you should do. I will criticize. The biggest award in quote in Nigeria was relocated to the US. What was the justification? All sorts of funny stories about technicalities and God, keep a Nigerian award in Nigeria. So I can't even blame these kids now when the award that Nigerian kids look forward to and artists look forward to was relocated to the US. This is where we are. So until we get it right, we will continue to speak the truth.
We start with our children from very early age.
Yeah.
We start with them to keep looking abroad, to keep looking. We celebrate when Nigerians do well abroad. But what about the Nigerians who do well here?
Yeah.
Doing well abroad is great. You should do something there. We can say, oh yeah, that one, it's one of us. And it's done this, blah, 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 blah there. But that is not... no matter how well you do as an individual, if your society is not doing well, you have failed. Every one of us in this generation, I've been telling people, I've been saying it over and over. Well, you can say I'm a great songwriter, I've done this, I've done that. If our society is not making progress, we are not really doing anything. We might have individual success, but if that doesn't translate into communal success, then you are not really succeeding. And that is the thing, and many of us don't realize how societies are built. And we see America as like our extension. It's not our extension, no. We are not the extension anything. They know themselves. We need to know ourselves.
Yeah.
You said something, let me just hang on that. And I like that thing. You threw a bat at people like me and people who are still in the profession of communication. And it's so sad that this has been on our minds for a long time. Radio contenting, television contenting has gone down the drain. and people who are in charge don't want to hear the truth. I'm happy you said it, because we've had situations over time where people have shown little respect for the Nigerian music. They do not understand why Yoruba Igbo music should be part of their content drives. They don't. And I come from a school where it was almost like a taboo to even use foreign music on some stations, which I was part of. It was like a taboo. And then you said something about music for the morning, for the afternoon, for the night. There's a pattern that must go. But now, nobody cares about the pattern.
I'll tell you, if you listen to the average radio station in Nigeria now, the average radio station, you will hear the same beat. It's the same beat.
All through the day.
All through. And
all through the day.
You know that beat? You know that?
Yeah.
It's a beat.
Yeah.
From song to song, it's the same beat.
It's quite offensive.
It affects your brain.
It
People
does.
don't realize it.
It does.
Because music is
It
a
does.
very, very powerful force.
It does. It does.
All right, you are still listening to your Boom Radio NG, reaching you out from very, very sunny Lagos, and we are in the presence of greatness. We have with us beautiful Nubia, aka beautiful Nubia. You know, all the other AKs, it will pay us to mention. But on the real, it's one of those things that we have looked forward to, and we are glad that he came through. And we're coasting home now. It's because he has to be at another event at another place, and we are glad that he came through. And of course, hopefully next time when we both he will come through again.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Because it doesn't end now, but we don't want to overdo it, you know. So we really appreciate that you came through. Before we, round up, I don't know if Tokunbo has anything on his mind.
On my mind.
Yeah.
I have not said this to him before, but I like to tell you that the very first television production you had with me on LTV, okay, produced and directed by Jimmy Odumusu.
Yes.
The beat or something.
Music beat.
Music beat. Thank
Yeah.
you. Right.
Even has your voice in the intro, whatever you call it.
In the intro,
Music beat.
music
It was
beat.
your voice.
Okay. Happened to be, if not the best television interview I've
Wow.
had.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a truth.
That's massive.
Thank you.
Because
That's
it
massive.
was
Coming
more
from
than the
Tokunbo.
music.
Wow.
It
Yes.
was more than
Yes.
the music.
Yes.
And it was so deep. Thank you for that presence.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for coming on.
Thank you.
And thank you for honoring this call.
It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure. If you call me, I beg you.
Thank
You know?
so much.
And of course, when we go off now, he can't go. Yeah, there are one or two things that he doesn't like to do that he has to do. Let me be real. We want to get voice drops and stuff from beautiful Nubia, so that people will keep hearing this voice on this
With
station.
pleasure, with pleasure.
Honestly. And on that note, we also like to thank Sister Kemi, who
Kemi.
is somewhere in the corner
Yeah.
doing some amazing work. A big shout out to our guys out there on the streets, everybody watching and listening to us. Thank you for being a part of this. We've not talked about beautiful Nubia, the poet. He just glossed over it, but it's no problem. There will be a part 2.
That'll be part 2.
There has to be.
That'll be part
And when is the next? Is it Emu Fest, right?
Yes.
Because I don't want to. Maybe the EMU might stand for somebody. Anytime I see it is
You think it's Emu?
Emu, no man, what's the mind?
No, it's Enya Banket Music Festival.
Sorry now. Sorry. You let these people call me Omutinsi.
You're not the only one, though.
If I was even telling my friend, you have a massive fan in my friend Tunde Oguntoni, but I was telling you off air.
yes,
I'm going to say it again.
Yes.
It's a massive fan. I was sitting Baba, I'm a Gbemu. He said, oh yeah, I like Gbemu.
And the thing is, there's always Emu there.
Yeah.
So that doesn't actually help, because then people like, we come there to drink, put this palm wine there. So it's Emu Festival. No, it's Enya Banket Music Festival.
Now you people know. And your Backup Music Festival. But you see, the thing is, you cannot sing a song like Pasti Calabash, you make we drink some palm wine. How you go sing that guy's song with palm wine?
You're not talking about
Why? Why? Seriously, why? So there's gonna be another one in Ibadan.
Yes.
At the weekend.
Last night we had the Lagos one, which was really nice. Powerful, it was powerful. And then on Saturday we are doing the Ibadan leg.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
be good.
when is the next? Because I know you more or less go on tour. I follow you a lot, so I know that you go on tour with.
I'll go up and down. I mean, as an artist, I like to think of myself as an itinerant artist. You know, I like to, and sometimes even when I'm not performing publicly, I'm working.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working. So I'm incubating, working on ideas, trying to get. Yeah.
So when is the next Emu Fest in Lagos?
Well, our next because.
When is the next?
Yeah.
When is the next?
Our next concert.
Beautiful Nubia outing in Lagos.
Probably be March. We're watching. We see the elections are the 25th of February and stuff like. So I think after the elections, most likely mid-March, late March. So we're going to do our next Lagos gig. Yeah. And then hopefully next year we should have a new album as well. So
fantastic.
We're working on it.
Fantastic. Are you looking at any collaborations? Because it's always been you. Are you looking at any?
Well, I've always said that.
Or are there any artists that you would not mind performing or creating music with?
I'll create music with you if you bring the money.
Okay.
People will just talk about these things. This artist wants to sing with you, we've paid for the studio, we've paid for everything. We shall give you 50 million. And okay, I will come and do this.
That's the business angle.
Business.
I'm talking the creative angle.
The creative angle.
Yeah.
I don't operate like that because I don't. What I do is not a community. My songwriting is not a community
it has to
event.
flow. I guess.
Yeah. And I'm always telling people that it's not something that I didn't start out that way. It's been, you're 9 years old. The music comes to you. You write it down. 13, 14, and I've done this all my whole life. This is how I write these songs. I call my band. I collaborate with my band, and I always tell people that I collaborate with my band. Sometimes we are like 14 people. Sometimes we are 8, 10. But these are people I collaborate with because I've written the songs. I've arranged what I do. What's remarkable. Actually, it's not just the songwriting. I do actually arrange. I compose all the things you're hearing in that music. Most of it. So the agogo rhythm, pass the calabash, all those things you're hearing, I've composed them. Sometimes the drum patterns you're hearing, even the drumming, the horns. Sometimes I even compose the solos that you hear. So I tell my men play it this way. So and then I've arranged everything. The music is ready in my head. And I do demos. I record because I have a home recorder studio. I record everything. I give to my band. This is the music demo. Now this is your part. This is your part. This the one I cannot play on my guitar. I will use my mouth to sing it to them. And so, but it's not done. They now bring a part of themselves in it. That's where the collaboration is. The guitarist, if you watch, for example, the bass in my music is one of the strongest beats. People always praise the that your bassist, and they tell him. And he enjoys it. He'll be like, yeah. You didn't tell him that I composed the lines. Only when the women come and say, we just love the way you play the bass. Your bass lines are so heavenly. So you didn't tell the lady that this man actually wrote the bass line. That you just played it. But the thing is, the way he plays it.
It makes it his own.
How you know is when you have another bassist play it. It's different. Because he's put himself in there. And so I'm collaborating with all these people, So this is how I see collaboration. People, if I see somebody who's a singer that we can do things together, of course, I'm open to all this kind of stuff, but it has to be organic. It has to be something that happens because the person and I,
you can vibe.
We are friends and we are, the whole idea of doing collaborations in music, people forget that it's very recent. People do all these things that all these kids are doing, and people say, I do an album, 12 tracks, 17 tracks, and it's track 1, me and this person, track 2. Oh, this is pop, pop music. I'm not doing that pop.
So let me tell you what informs that. We'll put it out there. We actually intend to create an album, and we want people like Beautiful Nubia on the album, but not necessarily singing along with someone. If it doesn't flow organically, like you said, but we intend to bring a few young artists and some more legends together on a project. It's something that we're hoping to pull off.
But that's the kind of thing. It'll be nice, and you pay us well, and everybody's happy. Okay. That's it.
It's the kind of stuff that we want to pull off.
That's nice. But to just say people should do, it doesn't always work for some kinds of music. It works I think for pop, it works very well. For my kind of music, it's gonna be what. Is he going to come and start rapping on it? What's he going to do? Or is he going to do, or doing something? I don't do that. We don't just come. I can't just say, I've written the song halfway. Come and put something. I don't operate like that. Everything I do is organized. It's written out. The songs are written.
Band inclusive.
The instrumentation is all written out.
Everything.
So, but when you talk about collaboration, I've had people. There's a guy in South Africa who came in to do congas with us. I featured him as a conga player.
That's
on the
collaboration.
album. I didn't tell. I just said what I want is I read him like. He said, "Okay, I'll do that," and he came and did it. So this is the kind of music we play. It's different from the pop music. That's why people always say, "Nubia, you don't do collaboration." How are we going to do it? The way a lot of these guys work is they've got an idea. It's an idea. There's a beat. You put the idea on the beat. Somebody comes and adds another idea. Sometimes it's what me and Egbon did years ago. One day I came to the studio to work with you. I think it was at something Continental or something.
The Continental.
And I came to you, and we started out. You shocked me that day and just said, "We're going to do something together." You started saying poetry off, right?
That's true.
You started doing it, and I was supposed to respond to you, and we were doing that back and forth. And I still have the recording.
Wow.
Wow, I can't remember.
So you were saying,
now it's coming back.
it's coming back. You said a few words, and then I'll say a few words. So,
that was freestyle.
We are freestyling, but that's a lot.
now.
Is what a lot of the artists do now. It's basically like you come into the studio, you just freestyle on the thing. You do. It's an idea. You're working with the idea, But I don't do music like that way. So that's why people always say you don't work. You can't. It doesn't work. But if somebody and I, for example, I've always told people, say the Red Cross wants to raise funds for something. Let's say there's some disaster. We don't pray for disasters. But there's something, and there's a need, and they say, we want you 10. Come and do a We Are the World for us. That's something you can do. That's a cause that has brought you together organically, and you have to work together to do it. But otherwise, I don't really, it's not. It's just.
That's fantastic. So,
It's okay.
he's willing to do it if he has a cause behind it, and of course, we will find a cause.
There are courses.
There are several causes.
There are courses.
There are so many causes. Thank you once again. Thank you for being here. Parting shots from you.
Just that, our people need to keep believing that change is possible, that progress is possible, that development is possible, that it's not anybody who wants to live can live. There's nobody, but 200 million people cannot leave this place. We still have to build a good environment. We still have to build this place. We still have to fix the problems here. The problems are not going to disappear because some people have left. We need to fix this place. And we're trying to do the work in our music. And we are hoping that one person hears what we have to say and they share with 10. The 10 will take it to 1,000, until we are
there's a multiplier effect.
Until we're able to get, we're just a minority, a very strong minority that actually understands that society cannot be built from ground down. From up down. It must be built from ground up, and we must change the way we look at life. We must embrace the values of honesty, honest hard work, truth. The youth now, people say, you don't have to work too hard. Hard work has not helped anybody. It's a lie. I'm not talking about working stupidly, foolishly. Even there's a lot of Yoruba proverbs that talk about working hard foolishly. No, you got to work smart. But you work with wisdom, but you also do honest work. And we need patience. We need humility. We need courage. We need perseverance. We need contentment. It's so important. And these are the things that we are trying to pass through in our music. And I hope that people are listening and learning and letting that message reflect in their lives. That, for me, is the biggest gain from this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in music, But I know I'm getting the feedback. I get the feedback from people. The music is changing lives. Not as quickly as we want, but it is. So anyway, I just want to wish everybody well. And I hope, you stay on the positive side. Stay on the positive side.
Stay on the positive side. And let us work together to change this country and let us move the country forward. These are the issues and these are the things that we want to achieve. And every minute, every moment that you walk towards this, it counts. We can't say thank you enough to you. We can't, we can't. We are.
But I've enjoyed it. It's been good.
We're glad that you came through.
Thank you, beautiful. Thank you so much for coming.
Tokunbo, Ojekunle, there's something you said, and I just want to reiterate it and let it be on record. You talked about the vibes that he gives, the positive energy that he puts out, and of course, there's no way you put out positive and you can receive positive and you will not receive it. So these are the things that we're glad about, And on that note, we would like to say thank you, Segun.
Thank you for
We're
coming.
signing up now. Of course, it's almost about time for your regular boom bap. We'll be playing a couple of songs for you guys to do that for you. We have already done the Legend series. Nothing supersedes that. And we'll get back to regular programming in a bit. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will be running a repeat of this again in the 7 o'clock hour so that you can catch it. And of course, you can go watch the interview live on YouTube and on Facebook. This is Sola Rogers signing out. Tokunbo, Ojekunle.
Cheers. Peace.
Beautiful Nubia.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Wherever. Thank you.